In just the last few days, there was a terror attack in the heart of Tel Aviv, a massacre in Orlando. In France, a Muslim jihadist lunatic went onto Facebook Live and executed a mother and father in front of their 3-year-old. In Amarillo, Texas, there was a hostage situation, but thank God it was in Texas, because those Texans took him out. They call it a workplace accident, but the guy's name just happened to be Mohammed. And all along, President Barack Obama and John Kerry in the U.S. administration refused to call it Islamic terrorism. President Obama came out with a statement explaining why he refuses to call it Islamic terrorism. And what I want to do is I want to break this speech apart and bring a little bit of clarity on what really is going on.
For a while now, the main contribution of some of my friends on the other side of the aisle have made in the fight against ISIL.
Well, here, President Obama, is your first mistake. We're not at war with ISIS or ISIL, as you call them. We're at war with radical Islam. We're at war with Al-Qaeda. We're at war with the Hezbollah. We're at war with the Hamas. We are at war with these radical Islamic movements, not with an organization.
For not using the phrase radical Islam. That's the key, they tell us. We can't beat ISIL unless we call them radical Islamists. What exactly would using this label accomplish?
What will it accomplish? Well, if you know you're at war with radical Islam, you won't give the Ayatollah $150 billion because you know what you're at war with. America, under your leadership, has become the largest global sponsor of terror around the world because you think you're fighting against some sort of hate crimes or you're fighting against one particular organization.
What exactly would it change?
If you recognize we're at war with radical Islam, you can wage war against radical Islam. If you don't recognize we're at war with radical Islam, you just may end up giving them billions of dollars and help fund their terror activities around the world. If you don't know who you're fighting, how can you win the war?
Would it make ISIL less committed to trying to kill Americans?
Stop saying ISIL. Al-Qaeda killed you in 9/11, and the Hamas would kill you if they could. It's not about labeling them. It's actually about understanding entire foreign policy in the Middle East.
Would it bring in more allies? Is there a military strategy that is served by this?
Indeed, there is a military strategy when going to war. And you know what you've done to your allies? You've alienated all of them or backstabbed the other. Do you remember Egypt? They were an ally of the United States of America. They were not radical Muslims, but you encouraged the Muslim Brotherhood to overthrow their government. Israel has never felt more separated from the United States. So your allies you've alienated and your enemies you've funded. That is not smart.
Calling a threat by a different name does not make it go away.
Calling it a name won't make it go away? Very good. So let's not call them anything. Let's not say anything. Let's not do anything. Let's go out for ice cream and coffee. It's not about calling them a name. It's about actually understanding what's happening in the Islamic world in the Middle East. Because folks, it's happening. We've been saying this for years. The Muslims are coming to America, and some of them, not all of them, but some of them are going to kill you.
There's not been a moment in my 7.5 years as president where we have not been able to pursue a strategy because we didn't use the label radical Islam.
It is so brilliant how you're trying to minimize this into a label or not a label. Yes, there hasn't been a moment you haven't pursued a strategy, but all of your strategies have been counterproductive, in fact, dangerous. You've given the Ayatollah in Iran billions of dollars and paved a way for them to achieve a nuclear bomb. Do you know what happened if that killer in Orlando would have had a nuclear bomb? He wouldn't have just killed 50 people in Orlando. He would have detonated it in Manhattan and in Los Angeles and killed millions of people if only he could. And you know who your greatest ally is in fighting global jihad? Israel. And do you know what you've done to Israel? You've backstabbed us and thrown us under the bus time and time again. What's going on spiritually in the world? Here are my thoughts. Here we have Israel, and we are right now in a clash of civilizations. We are in the middle of a clash of ideas, a spiritual war. On the West, on one hand, we have a postmodern world, which really, if we were to talk in biblical terms, we would just call them pagans, meaning one person has one God, one person has another God, we can switch gods, there's no real truth. What's ultimate truth? There are multiple gods, multiple forces, everyone has their own reality, there's no borders, there's no good, there's no ultimate evil, a boy can be a girl can be a boy, let's build them all bathrooms, it doesn't really matter. Here we have one society that has no truth. On the other side, in the East, what do we have? We have people from the jihadist movement that are declaring they have ultimate truth. And in their ultimate truth, they're going to kill the infidel. They're going to kill the homosexual. They're going to stone the adulterers. And then you know what happens? The people in the West say, you see what happens when you have ultimate truth? You end up with people like jihadist John that are chopping off people's heads. And here they are coming now claiming ultimate truth, but really worshiping ultimate evil, worshiping death, worshiping child sacrifice. Yes, today it's not to Molech in fire, it's to Allah with a suicide strap. One way or the other, they're worshiping evil. And in the West, they worship nothing. And so here we have Israel stuck in between them all. And what is our message? We believe there is an ultimate truth. There's an ultimate reality. Within the fabric of creation itself, the Creator, who is the creation, who is one with the creation, said there is a way the world was meant to function, a perfect life, which is based on justice and compassion, righteousness and goodness. And we are here to bring that light to the world, to those they say there is no truth, and to those that have the wrong truth. And then what are they going to say now, that the Orlando attack was because of the 1967 borders and the occupation of the West Bank? Is that what happened to that family in France because of the occupation of the West Bank? No, folks, we're in a spiritual war, and they're coming after the Jew, and they're coming after the Christian, and you know what, Berkeley? They're coming after you too. They're coming after all of us. And you know what the Jews in Israel are waiting for? We're waiting for you to leave, because soon November will be coming, and like all empires and emperors that have risen and fallen, you will be gone and the Jews will be in Israel. Folks, I'm sorry I can't analyze this speech anymore. I'm just getting too nauseous listening to your president spew his nonsense. Anyway, I hope this helps. Let him not distract us from the real issues. Shalom from Jerusalem. Hey folks, I just finished filming that video. If you like that video, then check out our podcast on www.thelandofisrael.com, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right, see ya. Shalom.